How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Hit the like button first and foremost. Again, it feels like it's been a little while. Again, we're hearing noise from Jordan's headphones, but it wouldn't be the same without it. It wouldn't be the same show without it. So hit the like button. 1,000 likes real nice and early. And big up Jordan, Lee, and James. A special thank you to them as well because we're recording at 12:30 Friday morning. So it's Friday morning. Appreciate it, guys. Worked well for you, James.
No problems.
It worked well for me.
You was outstanding.
Was you out tonight then or something? Because you said you got in early.
I was at Wimbledon.
Oh, of course you was. Yeah, how'd it go?
Well, I mean, it was a great day. I mean, Wimbledon's always a great day. But we got the resale to see that Andy Murray sort of tribute and farewell. That was pretty special. Other than that, I roasted in the sun because it was 19 degrees today, but not when the sun was out. Oh my word! So I'm looking very red, but it's fine. We're going to move on. Yeah, good day. Now I'm shattered. But we've actually, for once, got some transfer news to talk about.
Yeah.
And Southgate might actually be doing something different with the team as well. So plenty to talk about. So I'm energized off a good day and plenty of sun. So let's go.
Yeah, let's get into it though, because me and James have already we have spoken about it, not on content this week, whether it be on his own channel, James, whether it be on AFTV's transfer show that we did live. Check that out if you haven't already. So it'd be interesting to hear from Jordan and Lee. But first, real solid, firm interest confirmed. I say first, I mean, was Seshko ever confirmed by Fabrizio and Ornstein or people like that?
I think it was, but sort of after, if that makes sense. After he picked Leipzig, it sort of came out. No, they did really want him, but
this one's picked up pace in terms of the trajectory of rumors, and now it seems pretty concrete. Jordan, Lee, either or, you're welcome to start. How do you feel? Are you surprised that a centre back is the first signing, it seems, on the cards?
Go on, Lee, you go first.
Yeah, I am surprised, if I'll be honest. I've done my research on this. Well, Laurie did. He said that he could play left back at first of all. So I think that's something that we can look at there. I am surprised by it, and it does look like it could be that the Kivier could be going as like out. And so he's got to be obviously an upgrade on Kivier. But I thought Kivier done okay last season without limited opportunities at central defence. So it does seem a little bit strange that you're bringing in someone that may not be guaranteed a first team place, or is he going to be playing as a left back? I don't really know. James might know a little bit more than me on that fact, but it does seem at times we look to upgrade, and if he is an upgrade, then so be it. So but looks like it's pretty solid when what I've seen of it today, so it does look like it might well happen. So hopefully it's one of 3 or 4.
Jordan, are you happy first and foremost? I'd like to get
well, before I comment on that, I want to just big up James on your new channel. I saw your first 2 episodes and thoroughly enjoyed your content. So big up the man then. Really enjoyed it. I don't enjoy many people's fan channels and stuff, and not just because you're on this podcast with us, but I really enjoyed it. So well done. As James would say, go and check out James's channel, subscribe and all that good stuff. Second thing I'll say, Turkish, is that what did he do? What did Lee just say?
He was falling asleep.
I'm staying out of that one. Second thing I'll say.
It's a long night.
And I probably will keep saying it. I know it's boring, but I really hate this transfer chat stuff. I know, James, you like it. I know you like it, and that's fine. Many, I'm in the minority as usual, but I despise all this transfer stuff. It's just, I just hate it. But I'll play ball. Am I surprised? Yes and no. I'm surprised as far as I don't think any of us thought that a defender was a priority. I think we all probably feel like of all the parts of our team, centre-backs probably were strongest. We've got not only good centre-backs, but we've got depth as well. So that's probably the area of the pitch where I would think no. But the reason why I'm also not surprised is because Mikel Arteta has done this before. But no one saw Ramsdale come in. You know, nobody saw Ben White come in. These are players that at the time we were fairly strong in positions, and he wanted to level up. Even the David Raya thing, which we should discuss as well, was a bit out of the blue. We were relatively strong there. So Arteta likes to level up. That's fine. My concern is two things. One, he's not even the Italian defender that I wanted. There's another Italian defender. I've forgotten the guy's name. James, you might know him.
Is it Bastoni, the Inter Milan?
No, not even him. He played in the last Italy game. I'll Google it in a minute and look. But there's another Italian defender that I like the look
Mancini?
of. No, he had blonde hair, like floppy.
Di Marco?
No, I'll find it. I'll find it in a second.
He's going to say Cannavaro or something.
Yeah, Maldini. I'd love him. I'd love Maldini. You know? Yeah, I mean, there's not an endless pot of money. So I'm just thinking, if this is to be true, and I don't think it's as true. I know Fabrizio has been tweeting hardcore, but I'm not still buying that this is true at the moment. If it is true, what kind of fee are we talking here? We're talking 50, 60, 70 mil?
50.
42 million.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Even 42 million. Let's say 50.
Still quite a lot.
That's a lot of money, man. And we haven't got buckets of loads of money. So I'm a little bit concerned we're going to spend that level of money on a player that looks really, really good, but isn't, I don't think, a priority. So I'm not all in on the transfer in of itself yet, but it is a little bit confusing as far as it's somewhere I don't think we need to particularly strengthen. Yeah, but he's a good player. He's a brilliant player. I just think there's other more important areas to kind of focus on.
James, before you give us the background on terms of the positions you played and how often and whatnot, when I mentioned the other day the whole Gabriel stuff and last season, the end of the transfer window and how it might not sit well with Mikel, judging by the type of manager he's been in other situations, I won't say surprise. You seem to take it in terms of it could be a very now it's been a couple of days since, and to be honest with you, I'm surprised when I look at the comment section and the live chat. I thought a lot of people would be, Turkish negative. It's competition. Don't worry, we're strengthening. And a few people were like, potentially, yeah. I mean, how does that sit with you now as well? I mean, does that, because I guess that plays a part in the position people see him playing. Everyone's going to assume left back if everyone assumes Gabriel's definitely in long-term plans.
Well, I think Gabriel is in Arteta's long-term plans, but the reason I found what you said really interesting was because it's just another reason. It just justifies the potential price tag even more. If you want this left back who's going to do what our particular left back needs to do, who's really comfortable there, who's at a really good age, who's available at an expensive price, but still reasonable for the market to a degree. And he has the potential to be a long-term centre-back when you know that the long-term centre-back last summer had a few transfer stories around him. It's just an extra thing. I think even without the Gabriel thing from last season, we'd still be looking to sign Calafiori now. In terms of whether it surprises me, I think Jordan's right. Like, why should we be surprised by anything Arteta does? He's got history. He's spent on the defence, and actually, I think he's spent on defence and goalkeepers. I need to get this right. Basically, I think he spent more on defense than any other position.
Yeah,
now
definitely.
The Rice number slightly skews it because that's like 100 million on one position, on one player. But basically, like the amount of defenders he's brought in, and look, I've loved pretty much every one, to be fair. I mean, Mary aside, and a few in Cedric, who pick up Cedric. Largely when he has spent big on these defenders, he's largely got them right. Kivior, even so, for 20 million. Like, he did the job last season. So it'd be interesting to maybe discuss whether he does go to Juve, because some people are starting to say that that's an option for him. Look, let me be really real for a second. I love him based off 3 games for Italy at the Euros at a time where Italy were not very good. And I would be a hypocrite if I said that was a big, good enough pool of enough information for me to sort of decide whether I think he's a top player or not, because I've always said that the level of international tournaments drops. I don't think it's at the level of the Premier League and the Champions League and a lot of the sort of week to week competition we're going to have. So just because he looked brilliant in that doesn't tell us a lot, but did some research, and this is a guy who's renowned for being, and he's done it very quickly. He went from Roma to Genoa to Basel to Bologna. he's made a lot of quick moves. He's impressed. And I read an article by, I think his name's James Horncastle, who covers Serie A. He's an Italian football expert in The Athletic. And like, my word, he couldn't have spoken more glowingly about him. And this was after we beat Albania 2-1, first game of the Euros. And he basically was just like, this guy is the next Italian centre back. He is the modern defender. He was compared in Italian media to John Stones. He was asked about his comparisons to John Stones, like in the way he plays the game and steps into midfield and plays. So that's really interesting. So if he's comfortable in midfield, which we saw a bit of that at the Euros, does he do that inverting from left back like Zinchenko was doing? Or does he come in at times for Gabriel to then step forward? And then you still have Timber, Saliba, White, which, guess what, was the back three and build-up that we had at the start of last season before all the injuries happened. So I'm really interested to see how Arteta plays this. Whether I believe it's kind of all true and all happening, I think there's been so much. Like, pick a journalist. But apart from David Ornstein, like the only one's not said anything. Charles Watts, Fabrizio Romano, all the Italian media, the ones you rate, the ones you don't, whoever, everyone has come out and said Arsenal want to get this deal done. And when you look at his profile, he fits Arteta like a glove. So was that a priority position? No. But is he a player that off very little football and a couple of articles that I want? Absolutely, because I just have a feeling he could be quite special.
Okay. And I guess the fall guy is going to be Kivior or potentially Zinchenko, people might assume. But I assume it's Kivior with the links to Juventus at the moment. Raya has also signed, sealed, delivered, something we all expected to happen anyway, or knew it was bound to happen. But go on, Jordan.
Sorry, Turkish. Sorry, man. Just what final point on the link to this Italian defender? Forgot his name. Wow, Calafiori. It makes sense also if Mikel Arteta is trying to go down a more defensive route. So what I mean by that is if his strategy this season is to concede 10 less Premier League goals, and he thinks that by bringing another top centre back, he can rotate Saliba more, Gabriel more, of course, Champions League. If that is the strategy that, okay, there's no number 9s out there, so I don't think we can score 10 more goals in the Premier League, but what I'm going to try and do is concede 10 less goals. That's maybe the way we win the title. Then in that sense, it may make sense. If I can't be better in attack, let's be better in defence.
I do think we have a legitimate left-back problem. I think while it's easy to sort of go, well, we need a striker or a forward and we need a midfielder, those are the priorities. Left-back is a position where if the team is fully fit, I weirdly think is the one we're most unsure about. Let's take our team right now and you put it out there. I honestly think with the players we've got right now, we're all agreeing Ødegaard, Partey, Rice. We're all pretty much agreeing that. Our front three, the way Havertz ended the season, yes, we'd want to upgrade, but we're probably all going for that three. I reckon we all have a debate about left back. Is it Timber? Is it Tomiyasu? Is it Zinchenko? And then Kivior was actually the person who played at left back when we had our best run. So I do think it's a position you'd want to address. I do think you'd want to get that final missing piece so that he's got that goalkeeper and back four that is his go-to. And then that frees up Timber to play a right back like he did on the final day of the season and compete with White. It frees him to drop into centre back. It also frees Tommy. I like Tomiyasu a lot, but we always praise him for his defensive abilities. He's not bad on the ball at all, but he's not like some of the others. I think it frees him to be that backup centre back and to do particular jobs. And in Calafiori, you've got that kind of more specialised centre-back, left-back hybrid who's actually left-footed, not just shoving Tomiyasu or Timber there because defensively they're the best options we got as opposed to others. So even though a lot of people see it as like, well, we've got 4 players for that position, but we kind of have like B, C, D, E and not A. And I think if you get A, then you kind of just shuffle the pack across the rest of the back.
What's his best position, James?
Well, what a question, right? Because all I've seen him do is ball out in 3 games at centre-back. And he looked really good. His one-on-one defending, like defends on his feet. I really liked him, bar the own goal against Spain. But he's played most of his football as a left-back in his career. But he's 6'2" and has the profile of a centre-back. And that Maldini headband, it's...
Headband tax.
Now, look, I don't know. I think... I think he plays a left back for us, but Arteta will try things, man. He will try.
There's something I I'm surprised by it. And to be honest, I'm with Jordan. I think really, I hope this doesn't alter plans in attacking and midfield positions, because I still think we need that. But
I don't think
there's
it will.
there's also there's an underlying joy in it for me, because we're talking about adding another defender that looks like a unit to a unit. And we've never been able to talk like that about Arsenal's defense since we moved into the Emirates. That's a position that was so stacked in. And we're talking about another player that's, albeit in a few games, seems to have, been linked to quite a few teams. Talking about him potentially added to that unit. So, I'll take it. But I just
Well,
hope come 31st of August, we've still addressed the other positions.
for sure. I mean, but there's two more things I love about it, if I can add. Firstly, I'm talking from the perspective of having watched him at the Euros and watched him quite closely because I support Italy during these tournaments, and I was so impressed by him genuinely. But this is someone who played in a Bologna team that got into the Champions League on a Thiago Motta, playing a very inventive, exciting brand of football, which involved him stepping into midfield. And so there is like a body of work there that suggests, okay, like he might be ready for the step up. But the other thing I really love about it is when he came in for Italy and was playing brilliantly, and then that game against Albania was only his third cap for Italy. The internet went nuts with it. Everyone was like, look at the proper Italian defender, like one of the old school defenders of the 90s. Fans of all clubs were going, Aura, what a guy. Oh my, you just know he's going to the top. And we weren't linked with him. And now we are. And I just love that there's this kind of like, I promise you, if we were linked back then,
There would have been none of that.
Height would have just been a little, but he came in as like the surprise of the tournament that everyone went, that guy's going to be special. And then boom, Arsenal are in. And everyone's declared how they feel about him. Now, look, people can change their mind. And like I said, we haven't seen enough of him. But I just love that all the praise got out there before people had a chance to just go, is he all that really? 3 games? What has he done? 1 year at Bologna? So, we know what you all think about him. We've seen the tweets.
And the fact that it's happening, look, I've seen many international tournaments before where players have a good few games or burst onto the scene, and I've watched other big clubs go and scoop them up. This is another indication that we are in a good place. Like, even if it is a decision that's not being based, well, even if it's more of a spontaneous decision because of the sudden burst in the last few games for him, Arsenal are in for one of the headline names coming out of an international tournament. Those words alone is exactly where I was crying for Arsenal to be years ago. Accumulatively with other things, of course, but if there's a player at an international tournament that stands out, go and try grab him. If there's a player in South America, young, stands out, go and try and grab him. The best teams always do this. It's protocol for them. So I'm just happy to be linked. But yeah, we happy to move on to the other.
One thing, didn't he play against Switzerland?
No.
Too many yellows.
Ended.
So he got 2 yellows and he was suspended for that,
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think it'd have mattered because Switzerland.
No, just thinking, might have done. I don't know.
Mate, it's like I said on Talking Transfers with Laurie, Turkish, and Robbie. Like, Bastoni is a left centre back in a back three for Inter Milan, and he got shoved to right centre back to get Calafiori in the team. Now they did have an injury to Scalvini in the build up to the tournament. Interested to know what difference that would have made, but they had right-footed options and went with Calafiori. And for someone like Bastoni, who I think is so good to be moved aside, I think again it's just more kind of indication of how highly rated he is. So look, in Italy, they think he's brilliant. So let's see. My cousin who I live with, he's Italian, and he was saying, James, have you heard? Like, apparently you're in for him. And I was like, well, let's see. You never really know with the media or whatever. So there's a lot of hype. And ultimately, I trust Arteta's idea on this stuff. Like, I don't have that sense of, because I think Jordan might have said it before. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan. We shouldn't sign a player because they've had a good tournament. There should also be a body of work. But if there's a good tournament, a body of work, ultimately, if Arteta's given it the thumbs up, I largely trust him. That's not to say he's not got things wrong. Vieira at the moment really hangs in the balance and it's swinging one way in particular. And there's others we can mention, but I'm pretty confident on this one, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to unfold more by the time we're back next week anyway. So we'll touch on that, see where it's at next week. But another piece of not necessarily transfer news, but like I said before, Raya signed, sealed, delivered. We all expected it, but it brings up the question again, which seems to have gone quiet on Ramsdale. You know, I guess it's quiet because of the Euros, but there has been quite a few suggestions that if he's happy, keep him as backup. Now I'm going to jump straight in and say, as backup, I think he's been terrible. I said this before. You know, as a first choice keeper, I think he done great for us. I think, you know, yes, he's made his mistakes, but he was a big part of us turning it around to being a challenging side again. So I give him credit for that. But since he's been made back up to Raya, anytime I've seen him, it's been very shaky. And that's probably putting it nicely, if I'm honest, by my standards. But Lee, I'm gonna go to you. I know you're yawning for the 14th time there. But
I'm struggling right now. I mean, all this transfer talk, I'm struggling right now. So
well, we're on your guy now. We're on your guy. What would you be like? We all know he's, you know, someone you like. Would you be happy to keep him as backup? Do you disagree that he has been a good backup, or do you think it's time to just get it done now?
I think this is very, very interesting. What's going to happen here? We all knew Raya was coming in. That was all done. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. But I don't think we should be selling him on the cheap for anything. Like, you know. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, like, well, where's he going to go? This is the problem. Like, I don't really see too many clubs where you could think, right, yeah, you could definitely go there. Like, you know, maybe Newcastle, but they're not going to spend big money. Newcastle, 30-40 million pound on a goalkeeper. West Ham, maybe they could probably go down that route, and Chelsea, maybe another one. But they're the only ones that I'm sort of thinking that where he could realistically go. Abroad, does he really want to go abroad with just starting a young family? I don't really know. If I was him, I'm not saying that I was advising him and all that. I would say at this moment in time, just stay tight and see what develops. You know, you don't have to go like straight away before the season. That can wait until the end of the transfer window and whatever. I honestly think this is going to be very, very interesting. I don't know how this is going to pan out. I really don't know how this is going to pan out.
Do you know what I'd do, Lee? If I was a team like Ipswich, I'd try and get him on loan for a year. If I was a newly promoted team, I would think
that's a great shout.
Just for a year, keep us. I think the promoted teams more than every other team, a striker and a good goalkeeper. They need someone that can score goals and someone that can keep goals at the net. More, I know everyone needs that, obviously, but I think promoted teams more so. I would, if I'm Ipswich, or who else came up? I don't know who came up. Who came up? Ipswich,
Leicester,
Southampton, and Leicester.
Yeah, any of them teams. I'm trying to get him on a year's loan. We'll pay for most of his wages. You've got Premier League money now. Arsenal can try and get him off the books for a year or most of it. You know, even subsidise it, most of it for a season. Do you know what I mean? He's playing regular football. If he has a good season, we can get because I don't see him going anywhere Turkish. I don't think
this is one that's been handled terribly then.
Yeah.
Because
the contract's too big.
I mean, James, I think you was about to say something there, but yeah, I mean, what was you or what's your thoughts?
Oh, I feel like, but I don't know what I want to say. I'm really torn on this one. I actually agree with you. I don't think he's done very well as a number 2, if I'm really honest. I don't think when he's come in, had to be a backup. I don't think he's been able to sort of get quickly up to I'm sure that's difficult.
Oh, okay. That's some of the things he's done.
I know it's like beyond. I know. I'm trying to be nice. But yeah, you're right. There needs to, and I know I'm repeating myself, people here. So people who've watched other content, been on AFTV, probably this podcast included. I know I'm repeating myself, but it just matters for this point. There needs to be a line in the sand moment for Arsenal where they go like, we are not going to sell players on the cheap. And you have to readdress the market so that clubs start approaching Arsenal knowing if we want their player, we're going to have to pay. These are not bad footballers. I can stomach El Neni and Cedric leaving on a free, obviously. I can stomach 4 million for Mika Biereth from Sturmgrass. That's just been confirmed. and I can stomach probably 5 million for Nuno Tavares. But if you want Albert Sambi Lokonga, who just had a very decent Premier League loan season, any less than 10 million, that's disappointing. Hutchinson just went for 22 million. Now, Hutchinson might be a better player than Lokonga, but I mean, that's quite a big difference in the way they're seen. Who else? Ramsdale's one being talked about. Zinchenko, Kivior. If these players, if the money and the offers aren't right, I know you end up sort of hoarding players and you end up with a bit of a bloated squad. But when's that moment where we just turn away from clubs and go, no, we're not going to do it? Like,
But I don't think the fee's the problem.
But now we don't.
I don't think the fee's the issue, though. I think it's the wages. I think a team would pay 30 mil for Ramsdale. Isn't he like our fourth highest paid player, or fifth highest paid player?
Not that high. I think he's like top 10, but he's on about 120, 100.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry, my bad. I thought it was on more than that.
You maybe 120, 130. I don't know.
Okay.
All this is kind of speculation. I saw some figures that are around that, so it's something like that. But okay, then. And this is when you're getting into all the personal stuff that I don't really like doing. But then you kind of ask, well, how much does the player really want them? How much do they want to be playing first team football? Because then that lands on the player to get it done. Now, I'm not saying that all that's necessarily easy to negotiate, but there's lots of factors in all this. I don't know. I think there has to be a line in the sand moment where Arsenal just go, yeah, we're going to keep Ramsdale as a number 2 for another year because the offers were 10 million and we want 30.
I think the bigger issue is, and it links back to David Raya, I don't think we've got a Premier League winning goalkeeper at the club. I'm not really loving this David Raya stuff. We've all know it's going to happen for a while. He's our number 1. Cool, we move. I'm not convinced by Raya.
Do you think he can improve?
I do. But at present, everything I say. Shut up. Shut up, Lee's late. Allow me. Everything I say for the next probably 8-9 months is through the prism of this is what happens when we do late podcasts. This is what happens. I'm trying to be serious here. Everything I say is through the prism of is this going to help us topple Manchester City, right? And David Raya signing for me, does that help us topple City? It might. I don't know if it does. And so I'm not all in the David Raya thing. And look, I'm a big believer in you get what you pay for. 28 mil for a goalkeeper. And I know people flip it and say, oh, well, 100 million pound signings flop as well. I get that too. I just the margins are so fine this season. They're so fine. And I look at
the market's so like you get. I used to do this, but now I just look around in every market, not just this market, and I don't know who to say we could have got him if we spent this. A goalkeeper market, especially. I just don't know.
Yeah. Raya for me. Does he look more like the goalkeeper Arteta probably wants? Yes, maybe just. Did we improve as a defensive unit? And he was a part of that. Yes, I think that is absolutely true. But I sort of agree. Like for all the cross-claiming, commanding with his feet, all that. I'd also like a slightly better shot stopper. Now, Brentford fans love him. Loved. However, when he was at Brentford, just before we signed him, hit like what I said with Calafiori, he was incredibly highly rated when we weren't linked with him. We weren't saying anything. So, he was recognised as a very, very good Premier League goalkeeper. And hopefully this season he just grows into it even more, gets even better. I mean, Ben White, I thought had a good/very good first season at Arsenal. But like the two after have been great seasons, I think. Mm-hmm. And I just hope Raya. So we had 3 full seasons of Ben White. Yeah, that sounds right. I just hope, Raya.
I'll back him. But
yeah.
I'll back him because he's our keeper. But I look at him and think to myself, is that a Premier League winning goalkeeper?
I think his demeanour is, I think his demeanour and his his composure and the way I think he goes about his work is very Premier League winning.
Maybe.
I've never seen that.
I'm being harsh.
The temperament, I do. I think he's got the composure. I mean, we always reflect on that Tottenham game, for example. We made the error, and we think, I'm convinced we win that game 3-0 if he doesn't basically give the ball to Romero. Ends up 3-1 and then 3-2. But how he performed after that error was extraordinary. He was utterly brilliant. Every ball that came into the box, he went, mine. Like, you cannot get anywhere near this. So there's a mentality thing there that's right, but then you wonder about some of the errors. But yeah, and the other, sorry, just the last thing I want to say about Raya. So I've been talking a lot about him, but 27 million. I think people forget we signed him this summer, not last summer. That is 27 million of the budget this summer. And do I think that will impact things massively? No, but I think it's often talked about as we've just announced last summer's signing.
But
the 27 million you spent now. Sorry, go on, Jordan.
Oh, sorry, I've cut you off twice there. But and this is where I disagree with Turkish earlier on, and I think you said it as well. I don't think we will make a lot of signings this summer. I don't think we'll make a lot of signings this summer. So I think things like Calafiori, David Raya, I'm not expecting more than 3 signings. I wouldn't be stunned if it's 2 plus Raya, because Raya was this year's money, but it's kind of last season's signing.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting a lot of signings this summer. I'm really not. So I don't know. The budget's not massive. I don't think it'll be huge for anybody this season. And I think 27 million is not a lot of money, but it's still a portion of our budget this year that I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but I just don't think. I'm just not convinced.
It's quite a lot, right? If we sign Calafiori for 42, and obviously Raya's been done for 27, that's just shy of 70 million already.
Yeah,
and you could argue we haven't improved. So, but I think with Calafiori would have, but I'm saying you could argue, Anyway, no, this isn't. Look, people listening, you're being negative. Not being negative. We're just asking the real question.
No, I'm being negative. I'm being negative and asking questions.
I didn't expect any different.
No.
I just think I think things are just sort of so easy to just go, Raya was last season signing 42 million. Yeah, but we're thinking we got 200, and actually when you start to just add it up, it's like Arsenal might have spent quite a lot of money already before we've actually even addressed the 2 big positions. So we'll see.
We will see. And we've just passed 30 minutes, people. So we should have just passed 1,000 likes as well. Make sure you check. Whilst you check, hit it if you haven't hit it already. And if you have, then well done to you, man. Share it as well. Tag us. Do all of that.
Hang in there, Lee. Hang in there, Lee.
I'm hanging in, like, it's now 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm hanging in, like, you know what I mean? So I'm actually thinking, what the hell are we doing at 1 o'clock in the morning?
This is normal for me. It's the 7 a.m.s and 8 a.m.s are the ones that really, really kill me.
1 for Turkish, 10 for us, Lee. Come on, let's be fair.
Yeah, next season that's going to be the rotation. Yeah, 1 and 10, 1 and 8, 1 and 8, 1 and 8. But yeah, let's move.
More coffee.
I think you'll take that. To be fair,
I would. I actually would. Where do I sign? Let me know now. But yeah, big up everyone. Hit the like button, and let's move to Euro stuff, because that is the common theme right now. Euros is quarterfinal time. England just did it against Slovakia. Saka being moved all over the gaff. Rice, in my opinion, putting in an okay performance, but seems to be one of the ones that is getting slated more than others. Bellingham also, Bellingham also slated due to a poor 93 minutes, but an amazing goal to bring England back in it. But yeah, Lee, let's start with you again on this one, or Jordan.
Yeah. I can't, but I thought Rice had a very good game last game. I thought he was really, really good. But yeah, he seemed to come under the banner of the rest of it, like the players now. Bellingham got a lot of stick. I don't really know how it would have panned out if we would have gone out, what they would have been saying about Bellingham, because up until that wonderful bit of magic, he was really, really poor. As is Foden, as is Harry Kane. Declan Rice ain't been at his best. Saka ain't been at his best. But it seems to be Saka and Rice getting it a lot more than the likes of Foden, Bellingham and Kane. If I'll be really honest, I think you probably exempt Bellingham and Kane a little bit because they actually scored the goals and goals win games of football. But I think Foden's had a very easy ride in this Euros. If I'll be really honest, his performances have been nowhere near as good as what they should be. And it seems like, well, we've got to get him in somewhere along the line. Where on the other hand, Saka has been Arsenal's best player for 3 years. Sorry, England's best player for 3 years. As we can get him out. Get him out. We don't, you know. And I just feel this a little bit. Why is that really happening? You know, actually speaking to a fella today who does he support? Wasn't an Arsenal fan, West Ham fan, and he was saying that he can't believe that the criticism now for Rice. He said never got that when he was at West Ham, and I think, well, funny why he's getting that now, like, you know, and people getting onto him, i.e. Paul Scholes, you know, and people like that. And I think to myself, like, you know, yeah. So I don't really know, but I don't think. I think at the end of the day, England have got to change the system now, and I think that there is a little bit of talk that they're going to change this system. And if they do, I think it will suit the likes of Bellingham, Foden, and Saka. But I'll be really annoyed, really, really annoyed, if Saka's not involved in this. And there is a little bit of a rumour that he may be, may not be. And if he is, he's going to be playing on the left-hand side of it. But we've sort of played a really restricted sort of games and everything like that, which hasn't helped Saka. If now we're going to play this a little bit more expansive, open system, and Saka's not in it, I'll be furious, absolutely furious, because I think it's undeserved. I really do. I don't think Saka's been the worst player out of the front three, if I'll be really honest. I think he's been the best out of the front three. Yeah. That's not saying he's been brilliant, but the other two have been, can I say this, piss poor. I've said it. You know what I mean? And they have. You know, Harry Kane's been nowhere near the same player as he has been. And but listen, we've got an opportunity to get it right on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. I think England will win. I've said that. I think that England have got a good route to the final. But as I said to James yesterday, and you, Turkish, yesterday, when we done our sweepstake, I was delighted to get England because I was excited about the tournament. I was excited about I haven't been excited about the way England have played, if I'll be really honest. And I think that if I'll be really honest, like I look at what James said, I don't think you was too enthusiastic about getting Spain. I think it's sort of roles of reverse for me and you, because all of a sudden Spain look like the real deal, and England don't. And but listen, this is where I do think this is where it all starts now, and it gets a very, very exciting. I'm excited about Saturday. I'm not going to lie. I think that Switzerland are a good opposition for us because they will attack a little bit, but I don't think they've got really anybody in their team from an attacking point of view that scares me. I look at Spain, I look at Germany, I look at France. They've got those little bit of people that can scare you. I don't think Switzerland have. I think what they are is a very, very well-oiled, well-drilled machine. But I don't think they've got that killer.
Quite a lot to unpack there. Jordan, you seem to be expressive at some points there. James, you even tried to say something, but I don't think anyone heard you.
Well, Jordan was getting ready. I
was just listening to my man Lee, just listening, just taking it all in. Go on, James.
Full of Jordan, information and knowledge, I am. Even if it's late time, I know what I'm talking about.
This is why I love Lee, man, because Lee will ride and die for his Arsenal players. I love it. I mean, first of all, Declan Rice has not been brilliant. No England player, bar Gahey, has been more than a 6 at this tournament. I think Rice and Saka, there are interests as Arsenal fans, and let's focus on those two. I've been a 5 at best. I saw some of the content on DR Sports and the player ratings. I mean, Robbie and them, man, they're always generous with player ratings anyway. I don't know what they were smoking or drinking. I heard 6s and 7s and 8s.
They don't even smoke.
I watched it and I was like,
what's going on?
Saka got a 6, I think. Rice got a 7.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. Yeah. But it's all good. It's all fun and games. It's fine. Look, I've got so much to say on Declan Rice, but I might just keep my powder dry for maybe a later pod on the off season.
Why though? Now I'm
All
about
right,
to defend him because
all right,
why? I don't get why is everyone on to Rice like.
But this is my point. I don't think everyone is onto Rice. I think this is Prism that we think that everyone's onto Arsenal players. I've not heard any more criticism for Declan Rice than I heard.
But I don't know. I don't know if this is a good reference. But Saeed all of a sudden yesterday on Big Six just randomly said Rice should be dropped.
Side's a troll, Turkish. Come on, Side's a troll. Come on.
Yeah, but he got it from somewhere because when asked, he didn't know what it's about forward passes and stuff.
You've taken the bait. Come on, I've heard more criticism of Kane. I've heard more of Bellingham. I've heard more of Trippier. I've heard more of Southgate. Declan Rice not in the top 5 players have been criticised in England. So let's not do that.
Because he hasn't been as bad as everyone though, because his job doesn't entail much like expectation. I think Rice's job is pretty much the job that gets done for others to flourish. But if others are not flourishing, then people are not seeing as good a job as just being done.
What's your main form of media, Jordan? Like Twitter, YouTube? Where do you get?
Probably flips between those two actually.
Netflix,
Shut up, Lee. between Twitter and
we never actually asked you. What did you think of Griselda out of 10?
Me?
Yeah, you missing Champions League games for it. Yeah,
it was a 8.5, 9.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me.
It was top tier. Anyway, I'll
too generous there, Jordan. Too generous.
Touche. Look, I'll be brief. Look, Declan Rice, I've got a lot to say on Declan Rice, so I'll try and be brief. I know the listeners are probably thinking, hurry up and get on.
I wish you would. It's when you get.
First of all, I said at the start of the tournament, I thought Declan Rice will be England's most important player, because I think defending that defense behind him is a big job. The midfield composition isn't quite right, and he'd have a lot doing, in there as well with Bellingham and Foden with no discipline defensively. He'd have the job of 2 people. So I always felt that it wouldn't be Bellingham or Saka or Foden. It'd be Rice. Declan Rice, I think, has been shown up for the player that I think he's always been. I don't know if you guys remember we signed him. There was a big discussion around how technically gifted Declan Rice was. And all the West Ham fans were saying he's great on the ball. And all you lot were telling me he's great on the ball. And I said, Declan Rice is a lot of things. But on the ball, he's not the guy. And it's the same reason why I never talk about him being £100 million bargain, because he's not £100 million bargain. £100 million is more than I would have paid for him. But that's a different discussion, right? Because for me, if you're going to be a central midfielder in that part of the pitch, you have to have that pass, right? He hasn't got that pass. Partey has it. Jorginho has it. Rice has not got it. Rice has got many qualities that Partey does not have. Rice has got many qualities that Jorginho doesn't have. I think positionally, I don't think there's anybody in the world better than Declan Rice. I think he's known where to be in that part of the pitch. I think is absolutely top tier. But for me, there's a level between Rodri and Declan Rice, and it's because on the ball, Declan Rice hasn't got that pass. He can drive through midfield with the ball fine, but we're talking about that pass, he hasn't got it, and that pass is key. And I think for England, we can talk about system is wrong. We can blame Southgate for many things, and I hold my hands up. He's bombing, right? But for me, the reason why England need him to be the player that Jorginho is for Italy, the player that you've got a guy Turkish, name begins with a G. He plays for Turkey. He plays quite deep. What's his name? He's got that pass. And the point I'm making is that Declan Rice has got a lot of things in his favour. And there's many things I love about Declan Rice.
You don't mean Çalhanoğlu, do you?
No, it doesn't mean Çalhanoğlu.
No, not him. No, not him. Again, I'll find him. But the point I'm making is that
on this Italian defender.
Yeah.
I've not had a look yet. I'm looking for a comment of the week in a minute.
Got a lot of play items.
Guaranteed winning. But to finish my point, I'm a big fan of Declan Rice, but I think there are things that he doesn't have, which I think for £100 million player he should have. And I think we're seeing that to some degree shown up at this World Cup. Now, look, we're Arsenal fans, so for Arsenal, the system works. He's brilliant. But I think that this praising of Declan Rice these Euros from Arsenal fans, his defence of Declan Rice is a little bit biased for me because he's not been good. Now, none of them have been good, but he's not been good. And I don't think it's right for us to sit here and say that he's been battered or he's been criticised unfairly. I don't think it's unfair at all.
But for me, like I'm the same as you though, because as I was off camera, I was still listening. So I heard when you said all of you was talking about good technique. Maybe James can confirm, but towards the end of the season before last, when we was heavily linked to him, and I said James can again quote me that we're getting him. You know, someone through the grapevine said. I said, you know what? I don't know if it's a Xhaka, replace it. I don't know if he's got the technical ability. So Jordan, we're coming from the same place here, but that's why I'm surprised that what you're saying now, because I just feel like the metrics that people are putting Rice down on, me and are not the metrics that he exceeds on. Now, you said he can't do what England need him to do, but that's England's problem. That's not his problem. We've seen, like Roy Keane can't do what Kevin De Bruyne can do, but he can do what he does or what he did to a great level. And when you compliment him correctly, you get what you get out of it, which is an abundance of trophy success and so on. Now, Rice, if I'm just focusing on Rice and the position he plays, yeah, and I come from an era where he is more a traditional DM than anything from that era. Now, Pep, I've mentioned Pep and his part in my opinion, ruining football in a sense as well. Great manager, one of the best of all time, if not the best, and great sides throughout it. But when I mentioned, about ruining football systems and all this, you mentioned Rodri, and this kind of annoys me as well, because it's like now all of a sudden every DM needs to go on the half turn. They need to be able to pass like their Rozil from the back. And I'm just thinking, yeah, that's nice. It's another profile of midfielder we've got there. But all these profiles used to work well back in the day. Like you said, you had a Roy Keane, you might have a Seedorf, you might have a Perlo, you might have.
Do you know what's different? Do you know what's different?
Huh?
Do you know what's different? We paid 100 mil for Rice. That's a premium fee. And I know what you're going to say fees don't mean anything anymore. And to some degree, you're correct. But 100 mil,
I've got to stop here.
I think we get used to 100 mil being normal. 100 million pound for a midfielder is a lot of money. That's a lot.
I've got to stop you here. Like,
you know what I'd be.
Listen, would no one's ever come up and discussed about the 100 million when he's playing for Arsenal? You know what I mean? Bloody England haven't paid the 100 million. Arsenal paid the 100 million. He's been damn worth every single bloody penny. Like, and at the end of the day, he ain't there to be the passer of the team. There's other players in the team that are there passer of the team. That is why it's called a team, because you need a team of certain players to do certain things and certain other players to do other things. And I don't think he's been great at this Euros, but that's not down to 100 million fee that Arsenal played. I'm telling you that I've been highly delighted with Declan Rice in an Arsenal shirt. More impressed than I thought. What he does in an England shirt, well, do you know what? I ain't that bothered as long as he does it in an Arsenal shirt.
And the system is set up better for him at Arsenal. So I accept we get better out of him because the system around him, is a better one. I'm just saying, I'm hearing a lot of Arsenal fans crying about criticism of Declan Rice. I'll be honest, I've not heard anybody criticizing Declan Rice at this Euros. I'm really not. Maybe I'm not saying you guys haven't. I'm just saying that I have not.
It's more in the Twitter world.
There you go.
Yeah,
he hasn't been as good. I admit that he's not been great, but no one's any England player.
But also,
I tell you what, probably one of the better players has been Jordan Pickford. That's how bad England have been. Come on.
I definitely agree. Mark, he's been brilliant.
He's done okay.
Declan Rice, what I love about him, I think he did loads of great stuff for Arsenal last season. I loved seeing him for that third goal against Bournemouth towards the end of the season, where he burst through and got that third to sort of seal it off. I like that he does have that in him. I liken him a little bit to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't know how some people feel about that comparison, but you can all have at it. And what I mean by that
is this your Kaka moment, James?
Well, it could be.
I don't know what it is.
That's late land. So Trent does something, has a particular skill. He's very good at other things too, but he has a particular skill that is so good, arguably the best in the world in his position at it, that you got to get him in the team. He is, from right back, the best crosser of a ball, the best channel passer, the best passer in general. What he can do with the football is unbelievable. You got to get him in that team because he just does something, and you cater to that. Now, Declan Rice, for me, and I've said it all season, I think, yes, I'm a bit of a casual when it comes to some of the other DMs around Europe, but I think he's the best ball-winning midfielder in the world. I haven't seen anyone win the ball back in midfield the way Declan Rice does.
Agree.
So I'm with Turkish. Once upon a time, you didn't have to have Rodri to win the league. Now, granted, he's won the last 4. That's a bit annoying, but once upon a time, it didn't have to be Rodri. So, what can Arsenal do to address the balance to ensure that you've got the best of Declan Rice doing what he does so well, while ensuring that we do have the other players that can add the other things? I love the combination with Jorginho. I thought they worked brilliantly. I'm delighted Jorginho's here another year. I think, though Partey didn't get up to scratch, I really believe that can be a proper partnership. I do think we should get another midfielder that's more of an 8, so Rice can sit in 6, and Erdogan, this other 8, can both alternate and build up, because Erdogan was dropping deep a lot of last season. I wonder if Zinchenko has a part to play. If Calafiori adds something, you can do Timber. All these players will do things that help us in that phase, while Declan Rice, and let me say, isn't, maybe Jorginho on the ball, but he is. I still think he's very good on the ball. Not elite, but I still think he's very good on the ball and can do most things we need to do in a game. But there's those decisive moments that maybe Rodri can bring, whether it's a chip ball over the top, whether it's a shot from outside the box or a late run or something like that. So I love Declan Rice. And when it comes to England, you brought Mainu and Wharton for a reason. We all agree that they're great. No one, hammered Southgate for his selection of them in the squad. They are 2 players of a profile that do want to get on the ball and play and dictate a midfield tempo a little bit more. Get them in midfield with him. And this is the first time that we're hearing, these leaks always come out the day before or a couple of days before. We're hearing that he is going to go to a back 3, Southgate. And he is, and we'll talk about Saka in a bit, but he is going to get Mainu in there with Rice like he did the last game, with a proper back 3 and wing backs. And I sort of think now I'm feeling that there's a little bit more of an infrastructure around Rice with Foden and Bellingham in the 10s as well, that can get the best out of him. You basically say to him, look, you just be the destroyer. You be the destroyer, keep things ticking, and then everyone else can flourish off the platform you give, because it's always defense first. It's always get a foothold in the game first and then play. And no one gives you that platform better than Declan Rice for me. So I love him, and I think he's worth every penny because he is the best at a very important, attribute.
Before we move on to Saka, I just want to be very clear, because I know people will say that I'm hating on my own player.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think Declan Rice for the first half of the season last year was arguably man of the match in 80% of the matches.
Yeah, he was.
almost every match between the start of the season and Christmas. I would say
when we weren't great, by the way, Jordan.
He wasn't amazing.
In there.
We wasn't amazing.
How many more points do we drop without him? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
No. I just wanted to make no. So I recognize in the first half of the season he was probably our best player. I recognize post the bye his set piece taking helped us in our title charge. I want to recognize that we talk about Saliba and Gabriel. That triangle now with Declan Rice was a key part of our defense that leveled us. So I don't want anybody saying that I don't rate Declan Rice. I think he's a phenomenal player. I love Declan Rice. I'm just saying that I think shush you. I think we're seeing a couple of key flaws, and I wouldn't be scrutinized those flaws as much if he wasn't costing 100 mil. Some people don't care about price tags. I get it. I do. When you're paying 100 mil for a player, and 100 mil for me is still a lot of money, you got to be everything for me in midfield. You've got to be able to do everything. And I think that's the one thing that we don't see with Arsenal. I don't think he's got it. And we definitely don't see it with England. I think they need it. And the Saka versus Rice battle on the weekend, I think will be really interesting. I think that's going to be so interesting.
I hope Xhaka plays. I'm hearing that he's a doubt, so I'm hoping Xhaka plays.
Okay, I didn't know that. But
that will be intriguing.
Yeah, it will be. I don't know if that's going to save you, Jordan. I can't lie, because
it won't.
I think
it won't. I'm done.
You love it anyway. It's all good.
I love it.
Oh shit, you don't love it? I'm gonna have to delete my fucking comments of the week. Shit, I thought you enjoyed it.
I'll say I embrace it. I embrace it more than I love it. I'll say that.
On to Saka now, and again I'm gonna start on it because I might have a different opinion to others. Actually, James sounds like he's on the same wave, but I'm intrigued by it. I mean, I wish I was gonna watch it. I've just found out that the Turkey fans meet at 3 p.m.
Hello,
can you hear me?
Yeah,
we heard you say they're meeting at 3
Yeah, they're meeting at 3 p.m. So I'm gonna miss the game because I'm gonna be out there. But I'm intrigued to see Saka at left wing back. I'm not gonna lie. I think if you play Saka left wing back and you still have a Foden on as the left inside forward or whatever, who can come inside and drag defender away and give space for Saka to go down that left, he might have more opportunity than he did on the right, because it got very stale on the right in attack in general. So I'm intrigued to see how it works. Like I said, I follow Saka and Rice for England. I don't really follow England as a whole. So I want them to have good games, because then we'll meet in the semi-final.
I'm nervous, Turkish, because this is exactly the setup I said he should do before Slovakia. Do you remember when we were standing there with Robbie outside the Emirates, and I said, look, I hate the balance of the squad. I would never have brought a squad that put us in a position where to get balance, Saka has to play on the left-hand side. Would never have wanted to do that. But these are the problems we have in front of us. Saka left wing back, Trent right wing back, with Foden and Bellingham in the sort of 10 spaces behind Kane. Listen, when that's your front five attacking, I like it. You got everything. You got that kind of drive and running off the ball and kind of. Do you know what I love about Jude Bellingham? Even when he's not played very well, he plays. And I really mean this like a compliment, but like he plays like the best player in the school team when you're 1-0 down. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm a midfield. Let me do this though. Let me do that. Let me try. But and it doesn't always come off. But like my word, is he a trier with everything, Jude Bellingham? And you see that in the goal, because that was just, I'll always believe I can pull it off, and he does. So you got some of that, but you got Foden as well, who we know what he can do when he's at his best. You got Trent and Saka on their kind of stronger foot. I'm not making any sense. It's so late. You get my point. On their left foot and right foot down the channels as well. And you've got a back three and two in front. I mean, that's the balance I've wanted for England, with the mess that I believe Southgate made with the squad. If it doesn't work, I don't know how I'm going to wriggle out of that one. But I'll do my best.
Southgate will get more of the blame anyway. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, Jordan? But I feel like you definitely watched the video and thought that's a great idea, James. I should go with that. So.
Everyone's trying to figure it out at the moment. Everyone's throwing suggestions in because Southgate doesn't have a clue, does he? So you're not the only one that's probably suggested it. And yeah, there's probably some wilder suggestions out there.
Look, I'll give him credit for this, right?
Who, Southgate?
Well, yeah. What I'll give him credit for is we haven't played well for the first 4 games. And Switzerland have, and they will batter us if the two teams perform at the level they have all tournament. That's it. And I mean it. It could be 2-3, 2 or 3, if the two teams show up the way they can. But with this change in system, with a little bit of humility and recognition that England haven't been good, and mixing it up and doing something that gives a little bit more balance, yeah, I like that idea. I personally do. And I think it'll make England. We did a preview on AFTV. It's out now, and I predicted that Switzerland would go through on penalties. I didn't know that was going to be the lineup he was going to go for. I think England might sneak this, because I think balance is everything in football. Add to that momentum, because while England haven't played bad, they've had the moment of the tournament. Okay, that's an extreme. You can throw others out there. They've certainly had one of them. Well, your 20-year-old, scoring a bicycle kick, in the 95th minute to keep you in the tournament. That's incredible, and that creates momentum and a belief, and it's our year. And see, we're still hanging in there, and it's Switzerland, and before we know, we're in the semi-finals. It's Netherlands or Turkey. We can do it, and then you just build something. So I think England, if they do go that 11 that's been rumored, the 3-4-3, I think they actually could sneak it and do it.
So what's your re-prediction then, knowing that the lineup and formation?
My re-prediction is actually 2-1 England. I think they'll have more on the counter. And I think they'll just attack down both sides. A lot of people, like when Saka went to left back in the last game, he was basically playing as a left winger, because obviously we were chasing a goal against Slovakia and whatever. I wish I had the stats, but it looked so much for me on the eye. Maybe it's confirmation bias, but it looked so much for me on the eye that the ball was going out to the left a lot more the minute Saka went out there. We just had something there. Balance does so much for football, and the players on the pitch. So, I think England will do it 2-1.
I'll just go briefly on Saka. I don't have any massive thoughts on him. I wasn't really for moving him. I don't like the fact that he's the fall guy. and has to move out there. But look, he can do a job there, and it's a team game. I don't really care either way, whatever sort of thing. I don't want him to be blamed for things going wrong. If
He
if
can't
he plays on the
anymore.
left,
If it goes wrong and he plays,
well, true, that is true. But in terms of England, I just think the formation is important, and I think the formation change could work. I think the bigger issue is just lack of tempo. I just think the tempo, the lack of speed and movement and all the games is the bigger issue for me. England, they're playing scared. They get the ball and they're just like, they don't know what to do. 2-3 touches sideways, 4-5 touches backwards, 2-3 touches forward. It's just really pedestrian football, and I don't care what formation you play. If you're not moving the ball quickly, you're not moving off the ball as well to make spaces for other people to pass to you, you're not going to win football games. And I know they've won football games so far. Switzerland are a good team. So for me, the bigger issue than the formation is just the lack of tempo. There's no tempo at all.
I think the balance, I'm more excited if that's going to be the way, because all of a sudden we've got a bit of a left side back, whether it be Saka out. I think it will be Saka out there, but we just haven't had no left side. We've just had a fullback that's, I feel a little bit sorry for Trippier, if I'll be honest. He's been criticised left, right and centre. But unfortunately, he's not got a left foot. And that's caused us problems. We've had Foden, he's been missing in action, just moving wherever he's wanted to go, except where he probably should be, or the system should be. So I think that if we get Saka down one side, Trent down the other, I do think it gives us better. And do you know what? If Walker has a weakness, is his attacking side of his game. I think he's a very, very good recovery, good defender. Maybe putting him into a back three. He's done it before. He ain't got to really be emphasising on his attacking game. And I think that would suit Trent as well as what James was saying earlier on. So Saka and Trent for me. And you've got the guys in. If Foden's not doing the business, then you've got Cole Palmer that can come in there. If Saka's not doing it, then you've got someone to go out there in an Eze or even a Gordon to go out there. So I do think it will be better for us. I really do and I do think that it will make Bellingham just a little bit more open to it as well, a little bit more play. Bring it on. I think James is right. I think we need to do something different, because if we don't, we're going to go out of this competition on a whim, and we don't want that, do we? I'd rather us play this system, go for it, and if we do lose it, at least you can turn around and go, do you know what? We've had a go. If we was to go out playing the way we are in a minute, it's if we didn't do this, if we did do that, go for it. Let's see us get through to the quarterfinals and the semi-finals and play Holland in the semi-finals. Let's have it. Come on.
Shit, you're still sharp enough, yeah? 1:26 a.m. and you still got that. Yeah, sharp at your age.
Yeah.
No need for that.
No.
He's wishing us to go out. Fuck it. Fire with fire.
Oh, I'm just wishing for plane delays. No, that's a terrible thing to say, right? Terrible thing to say.
What a scumbag. If it happens, I'm coming to your
There's a lot of delays at the moment, and they're on chartered flights, you know what I mean? So be careful out. Be careful. They take you back lunch with the Turkish.
As long as I get there, that's the main thing. Getting back, I don't mind. But yeah, let's keep it moving. I was just looking at the sweepstakes, and it seems like me and James have got one each left, Spain and France. And Jordan's still got both, Portugal, Netherlands, same as Lee, England, Germany. So yeah, it's looking good for the two on the right of the screen. But they've been yawning all stream long. So let's round off the comments of the week before we have our first casualty on Fourever Arsenal, and one of these not just drop on us. But yeah, comments of the week. Let's go. Who's ready? I'm ready, but to be honest, Jordan, do you actually not like the abuse?
No, well, I was going to say, because I got battered on the pod. I don't know
what people it's not for the first time, is it, really?
I thought I had a good pod.
You should have been named. I think I'm going to have to start naming you Cod. You know what I mean? Or Fish or something like that, because you get battered everywhere.
Just call me Spurs. You know what I mean?
The Cod Farmer. That's what I'm going to call it. The Cod Farmer.
The Cod Farmer.
I'll run for a couple. Harry Shark, Jordan has some of the worst takes of all time. This episode, diabolical. Another one here. 49 minutes in, Jordan's starting to do his online shopping.
I got that one.
I was,
So
but
you
that was,
just
that was
started
earlier.
Just
Go on,
start
James.
tapping the keyboard so hard, like.
Yeah, someone accused me of borderline levels of Thai levels delusion. Someone was mean to me and said, "Well, there's another one more here somewhere." Jordan's takes were disgraceful. Just because he met Southgate a few times, he's scared to tell it how it really is. Another one here, Mike James. Anyone speaking? Jordan, just let me type as loud as I can. Sorry, I didn't realize it was so loud.
You've missed a good one, man. You've missed a good one that I have to get in.
What did I miss? Go on.
Fernando said it's too hot to listen to Jordan. Simple.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's quite funny.
Not he didn't even put a full stop. He just said it's too hot to listen to Jordan. That's it. Fernando, well done. I like it.
Fair play. I yield.
You two are looking down. You got comments?
I just got like I do like these ones. I can't read because of my glasses. I ain't got my glasses. I love this podcast. I've been going through a bit of a tough time with the family issues, but this has been one of the things that I can really enjoy. So thank you, the four of you. I love all those ones. Like what I mean, I've actually had messages today.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? I'm doing a show like on Lee Judge's TV, and people are in the comments going, "When's the Fourever Arsenal coming out? What's the front?" You know what I mean? What a front, like, you know what I mean?
People ask us on Twitter.
It's mad, isn't it? I see that as well, like, you know what I mean? When's it coming out? So, like, you know, it's incredible, really, like, you know. We're doing it, like, you know, it's now 1:30 in the morning, and we're doing it for you guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whatever. James, you got any?
I do. I mean, it was the same one that you had, Jordan. John Daly's 49 minutes in, Jordan started to do his online shopping, which it did just bring me back to when you were just typing away. Because when you are doing something else that isn't podcast related, you can so clearly see that you're out the podcast. Just typing away loud as anything, totally focused. I wish I had to pull you back in. It does kill me. I also had another just quick mini story. There are these fantastic fans of the podcast called Rohit and his brother Pravan, I believe, who are, well, look, I can't promise anything, but we may be able to do something around the whole, you know, doing predictions with fans thing. So we're sort of looking into that. And we sort of asked why, you know, what made you want to do this? You know, it's very kind of you to help us out, but what made you sort of want to, you know, put this all together? And they went, well, every week we just can't believe Jordan's predictions.
That's harsh.
We needed a way to send Arsenal as well.
That's harsh.
No way that was the reason.
There's no need for that.
That was the reason.
Yeah.
That's rude.
They're setting it all up to just
to get
that's harsh.
Note down Jordan's predictions. Put it on paper.
That's harsh.
Or data.
He comes bottom of a four. Imagine if there's 1,000, he comes bottom of 1,000. That'd be unbelievable, wouldn't it?
I'll be better next year.
Well, you can't get no worse.
You're the only one without a star now.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Mad. When do you want your shirt as well, James? Which one do you want? What's going on with it?
I'm just waiting to see what the kits are like when they come out.
All right, then. No worries.
So basically, you don't want the red and white one. Then you're not quite a fan of that.
That's actually really grown on me, but others might be nice. We'll see.
We'll see, people. We'll keep you updated. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure this video is past 1,000 likes, and make sure you show some love to the individual channels as well. Like Jordan said, James is doing big things. Go subscribe to James Lee Judge's TV. Been about a little while, still doing good things. Make sure you subscribe to him and whisper it loudly. Got it right, bang on first time. Make sure you go subscribe, show some love, people. And yeah, we'll be back next week, and hopefully we'll be back talking about Turkey versus England semi-final. Let's see how it goes, people. Love for the love. Peace.